Hello and welcome to the Sandro Forte podcast. Over the many years I've been running a business, I've met many successful people, entrepreneurs, sports stars, celebrities, and dare I say, even royalty. So what makes a person successful? Do we know what success is? And the all-important question, can we create success for ourselves? This podcast series invites a diverse group of people to share their insights, their wisdom, and the things they've learned along the way. Most singles these days are more than familiar with the big business of online dating, but most are also very cynical about the authenticity of the person at the other end in terms of how they look, who they are, and what they're looking for, of course. My guest today, Lisa Palmer, is the founder and CEO of Mogul Matchmakers, a super discreet service that's used by Hollywood stars and royalty. I can't wait for this. Her aim is to offer singles a tailor-made service which offers a black book of clients that have had background checks carried out and have been personally met by Lisa herself to find out exactly what they're looking for, but also to give reassurance that what you see is really what you get. And I'm particularly excited about this because we've all been in a situation at one time or another where we thought, that's it, broken relationship, it's the end of the line, what do I do next? There's no one else out there, no more fish in the sea. And here we are talking to somebody who's got tons of experience to get us all back on the right track. Welcome to the Sandro Forte podcast, Lisa Palmer.
Oh, hi, thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to this chat. It should be good fun, you know. You might have to stop me from talking too much.
Well, I'm really worried about this because I'm a woman in a man's body. I never stop talking and you never stop talking. So it
could go on for hours.
This is going to be challenging. Okay, I'm going to hand over to you because there's loads and loads to find out in a very short space of time. So tell us first of all about Lisa Palmer. I'd love the whole journey if you can possibly do that in a very short space of time.
Yeah, I shall try and narrow it down for you. So, I suppose if I go back to early life, really, I worked in an office with quite a lot of people. There was about 200 women. There's a big corporate office, and it was great, actually. I was 17 years old. There'd be all different ages, from sort of 16, 17-year-olds to sort of 70-year-olds. And they'd all be talking about dating, their single or relationship problems or their husband. So it was a really good insight. And I sort of listened to them. And then when I'd go home, my dad had like a big property development company and he'd have loads of men there. So they'd be all doing the same, excuse that they, some of them might say, I haven't had a bit for a while, or I've been single, or she's driving me up the wall, or, I'm finding it difficult to meet a woman. So at that age, I started like matchmaking just for fun because there was a guy who worked for my dad and he'd been single for quite a few years and he was really sweet. So I kind of set him up with a lady I worked with in the office and it went really well. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. It gave me such a buzz and it made me feel really good. So I thought, this is definitely something I want to do. So obviously a journey takes you on different paths and things like that. But it was just something I knew I just loved. But I was so young and I didn't have the experience. But then I suppose if I go back to sort of like my younger days as well, because when I was at school, I was dyslexic. And I got bullied quite a lot at school. So I didn't have much confidence, if I'm honest. And I was put in like a sort of bottom groups. And as a child, you're sort of, I was gangly and, had no confidence. And I really struggled. So working, then going back into an office, starting in an office and kind of like listening to other people and how they felt and the dating and that, it just sort of... I don't know, it was good fun and I enjoyed it and I just thought this is what I want to do. So that's sort of, I suppose, where it all started.
I'm fascinated by that journey because you are not the first and you certainly won't be the last of our guests that have, struggled at school, dyslexia in the way, bullying. That's been very, very tough. And yet, despite all those challenges, you kind of come through to achieve all the things you've achieved. And I know we're talking about Mogul Matchmakers today, but there are so many different facets to your life and all the different businesses you're involved in.
Yeah, sure.
What I've heard so far is clearly a very obvious passion for what you do. So is loving what you do a very important part of being successful in business, Lisa?
Yeah, absolutely. I think from childhood, and that has shaped me for the person I am today. And I think because of the things that happened to me, it made me so determined, like to be successful. But also as well, because I experienced that, I just felt how other people would feel. So, and I am a kind and caring person. And so I suppose, it was sort of like, it was the start of the process, and that's kind of how it worked. But also as well, I don't know if you know, but there's a charity, the Prince's Trust. So I became a mentor for them, for like young entrepreneurs, and just sort of seeing them, some of them have experienced, dyslexia, or, they haven't been, had maybe all the things they wanted as a child, they sort of suffered. And so it's nice to sort of see them and help them as well on their journey. So there's been quite a lot of different things to shape you as a person.
Going back to the comment you made about your dad's business being full of men, and some of the comments they came out with, which largely explain why they were single, of course.
Yes, of course.
You talk about one of them being really sweet. Now, I've been described a long time ago as really sweet. It always worried me that sweet wasn't a very good adjective for a guy to hear about himself. If a guy hears the words "you're really sweet," should he worry, Lisa?
No, absolutely not. No, not at all. And the thing is, I believe there's always someone out there for everyone. And I don't think, obviously we do help people, and we look after them, and we kind of like coach them and guide them. But there's always the right person for that person. So no, not at all. And I don't think you should change who you are. You might need a little bit of help along the way, but no, you should sort of stay true to who you are.
I know you're an avid traveller. You love exploring different parts of the world as well, and that's something we all have in common. Tell us about your plans to go traveling, how these plans have shaped who you are, what you do today. Is that part of the whole education of life? Is there another reason why you enjoy travel so much? Just really interested.
Yeah. So when I left the corporate company, I went and worked in travel, and again, there's loads of women in there, loads of guys, so I started matchmaking again, which is great. But while I was in there, I got offered a job to work overseas, and I thought, okay, I still wasn't a confident, I was a bit like, oh God, shall I take it? And I thought, right, that's it, I'm doing it. So I went and travelled abroad. I didn't know a single person, and I was really out of my comfort zone. And obviously the first month I was like ringing my mum, oh God, I'm nervous, what have I done? And then I started to sort of like come out of my shell, and it made me, and I'm very confident today, and it sort of made me feel like actually there's a lot of people, everyone was pretty much in a similar boat. So I sort of grew my confidence and started to feel good about myself. And it was probably one of the best things I ever did. But also, like, with travel and that, it's always been one of my big goals. I was always like, well, I want to operate kind of a company both sides of the pond. And, as you're a youngster, you have your goals and that. And I was like, I always wanted to write a book. I wanted to operate and kind of be global. So, I'm ticking all them boxes now, and, I'm proud of myself. The confidence grew as I grew, in my 20s. So, it's been quite a journey.
Quite a journey, as you say. So before Mogul Matchmakers, you had an online dating agency.
Yes.
Again, there's lots of people listening that will have been through that ringer. To a greater or lesser extent, with different levels of experience and different outcomes. Why did you decide to kind of close that aspect of your approach to dating down and then start Mogul? I'm just interested to know about that position.
Yeah, so I started an online dating site, and it went well. Quite a few people on there, but one of my friends, not from my site, she went on a dating site, and she went on a date, and she got attacked. Right. And it's absolutely frightened the life out of me. I thought, if that had happened on my site, one, I am responsible. Two, I'd just I would just feel absolutely awful. And the thing is, you can't do background checks. You can't check who that person is. And a lot of people, unfortunately, some of them do lie. They might not be who they say they are. They might not look. They might be 10 stone and they're 50 stone or whatever. Or the picture that they were taken when they were 50 and they're 20. But they're actually 50. So a lot of people do lie. So I just thought this isn't for me. So I did close it down. And to be honest, I am a people person. I love people. I like helping people. And I wanted to do something different. So I just thought, right, what can I do? How can I do this? So I think it's about 2010, I went and trained for a couple of years. So I'd done life coaching, relationship coaching, dating coaching, image coaching, and sort of colour analysis. I wanted to have all them qualities so I could help people. And it's not necessarily like, so say if a client comes to me, I'm going to go through that whole process. But I know, like, if they do need help, I can get the right person or the right advisor to actually help them. So I know how to help them. So that's kind of like was the start of the journey for Mogul.
Yeah. So what is it about Mogul then that makes that as a business stand out? I mean, there are other dating agencies out there. But what's your USP, if that's the right expression? What is it that makes you stand out as you clearly do?
Yeah. I suppose, first is our values, our ethos, and the culture of the team. I have an incredible team, but we are sort of, I suppose, client-led. A client comes, sort of, I suppose, a lifelong friend, really, or most of them I'd like to think they were a lifelong friend. But we really are hands-on. So, but we get people date ready. So, so that could be like confidence, image. If someone's gone through divorce, or they might be widowed and need to get their sparkle back. So some clients don't necessarily need like dating. They might just come on because we've got wellness service as well. So we kind of like help them, I suppose, be the best version of them and make them feel good.
So it's not just about connecting people. It's about coaching them through a process. Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of the process. Yes.
Now, I know that, let's talk about price, because there'll be people listening going, okay, that's great. Lisa's got contacts and this amazing black book. How much is it going to cost me if I walk through the door? And what am I going to get for that money? And I know that there are lots of agencies out there charge way more than you do. So clearly there's a balance to be had between price and value. You've already explained the value. And the other thing I think people ask, Lisa, is, okay, what's the likelihood of success? Because I know there's lots of people who might walk in through the door, and I won't mention whether it's male or female, but a person walks through the door and they might be very nice, but they might not be particularly attractive, let's say, and they have this expectation of meeting somebody who is way above their pay grade. Let me put it like that. There's a degree of coaching involved to help them help manage their expectations. Otherwise, they just pay the money and they have, very little success, I imagine. I'm not sure physical qualities, it's personality as well. So let's talk about that. What are people getting for the money is what I'm asking.
Yeah, no. Okay. I mean, I suppose, as I say, you can't put a price on love, which you can't. But I suppose with us, so we really get in sort of the mindset of each client. So, I'll just sort of give you an instance. So when we meet a client, we interview them, we kind of find out exactly what they do in the morning. So do you go for a run? What do you have coffee? What do you eat? So we literally find out their whole life. So what they do day to day, what they do weekends, what you do on holiday, where do you go on holiday? What do you like doing? And then, so for instance, one lady, she's really into horses. She loves horse riding. Horse riding is her life. And so me and the team would either go horse riding. So we'd actually go and be with horses for the day, groom them, go and clean the stables out, and kind of get into that mindset of that person. What do? They eat, live and breathe horses. They work out. And so it's quite involved. And then with one client as well, he wanted someone who was sort of Jewish, but someone who was spiritual. So we would then go out to, different communities. We'd go and do yoga and things like that. So we're quite different. But if I kind of give you so that's kind of a little bit of how we work. But just to find Mr. and Mrs. Right, it's quite hard. So we kind of obviously find bespoke matches, but just for that one match, we might interview 20, 40, 60, 100 people, and as you say, on the surface, they might look great, but then when you get down to sort of the nitty gritty, and you actually find out this person isn't ready, or they're not quite right. It's all about chemistry and compatibility, and so it is quite it is quite a lengthy process, and you're doing background checks, security checks. And then, so that all that process, I don't think people realise how long and lengthy and, what it takes to actually find that person. Yeah, we have got some people on our books who are wonderful and they might be suitable, but sometimes they aren't. So we really go kind of the extra mile just to find that person for our clients.
That is amazing. What about success rates? Do you track those? Would you say?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we do. Yeah, so yeah, we have got a high success rate. It's 93%. I mean, obviously, we have got a few people who aren't happy, but we don't take on someone who we don't feel we can help. They've got to work with us. They've got to be able to adapt and change. But the thing is, we just have to do our utmost to sort of keep people happy. But we've had a lot of marriages, we've had children. One client, I was their bridesmaid, but we keep in touch with our clients as well, which I think is really important. We kind of like hold their hand, their family. But, we, if say like their engagement, we're sending engagement cards, we send anniversary cards, we might send them some flowers. I think it's all about, keeping your clients and keeping them happy and just keep communicating to them. And they are kind of, I suppose, when you take a client on, they literally are like part of the family, the mogul family. So as I said, I will only take someone on who I feel suitable. And if I don't feel I can help them, I don't want to waste someone's time. And, I might not be the right person for them. So, I think you just have to respect someone and make sure I can do the job.
Well, I love your approach and the diversification, all the things you put yourself and the team through.
Honestly, you should see one of the team as well, literally everyone's come from different fields. I've got someone who's spiritual, I've got the LGBT, I've got such an impressive team. And but when we went horse riding, I have to laugh. I said, right, team, we're going horse riding, like, right, okay. And obviously we're all dressed up, we've got jeans on and trainers. And one of the guys, Liam, he's, coming out of his Louboutins on and like hot pants. I'm like, this is not a good look. And he's like, I'm scared of horses. So we do have fun as well, but we really do go to lengths to find, and get in the mind of that person. My
feel is that there's more demand these days for dating agencies. Is it because, Lisa, people kind of have less time to look around? Is it because of social media and the fact it's so much easier to communicate by SMS or email these days? Is that the reason, or is there something else? Because obviously you have all the experience.
I suppose, obviously, we do work in the luxury field, but people are time poor in our experience. But I suppose the good thing is, like, obviously you've got online dating. So, and it kind of, obviously back in my day, there was a lot of stigma around dating and that, but like online dating is such a big business now and it's more acceptable. And, if you read the newspapers, there's always an article about dating, and there's TV shows, there's tons of like dating shows. So sort of people kind of, feel it's more acceptable, and there just isn't that stigma, which is great, So, and I suppose as well, like if you look now, when you was a youngster, you see the fairy tales, and we've all been told that, you'll find true love, it might happen in the supermarket and it might happen in the library. But in reality, it kind of rarely happens. But, when you're young, it's easier for you because, you might meet your partner in a pub, club, university, college, etc. But, as you get older, you kind of do less of those things. And I suppose because you've been had a few relationships, you kind of know what you want. So I think that's why sort of our agency, it kind of works, So once we know what the client wants and what they're looking for, and we guide them and help them, then we kind of like, we go to work and do our job. So, sometimes it's slightly a process of elimination. We might give them one person, we're sure their chemistry and compatibility, but when they get there, there's something maybe not quite right. And but that's fine, because the next person, okay, we know that's not working and we're home in. But, sometimes we're really lucky and it's the first person. But, it is exciting. And but with the team as well. So I do go on, but with the team, we get so excited. So when we get like a match, and what we do is we set up the date, and it's normally me. I normally go and meet the client, and I introduce them. So there's not that horrible, scary bit, because that's quite, they're quite nervous. And but when I ring the team, and I come out, so they've met each other, they really like each other, but still, we normally have to hear within 24 hours how they've got on, and we're all like so nervous because we're like, oh, please get on. And I suppose because we're just so passionate, and it's great when you get that call, yeah, we've got on really well. If they don't, then we're like, okay, well, how can we help? What can we do? But it is exciting, and it's a real buzz. I love it.
Are there any Lisa Palmer tips for the things you must do and mustn't do under any circumstances on
well, I hate to say this word, but definitely no, I hate to say this word, no sex, absolutely no way. And just drinking as well. I think, I know the old cliche, but just stick to like 1 or 2 drinks, men don't like women, if you've had a few glasses of wine, you start to get a little bit loud, and, just stick to 1 or 2 drinks. It's the first date, you're meeting each other, you're getting to know each other. So, kind of just keep it flowing, and keep the communication, like sort of bat it back, sort of like a bit like tennis, you talk a little bit, although like this would be really bad for me and you, because you wouldn't get a word in edgewise all the time, because I love to talk. But but then the thing is obviously there's just be yourself, and be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, good advice. Now let's put all this into perspective, because as people are thinking, this lady sounds super successful, and I find it difficult to associate with successful people because there's always 100 reasons why they've been successful and I haven't. Into a little bit of perspective. Has it always been plain sailing in business for you, Lisa? Have you encountered problems or challenges, and if so, how did you overcome them?
Yeah, no, it was same with me. I really struggled when I was young. As I said, I suffered with dyslexia, and I struggled to even like writing an email, like it would take me about 20 minutes because I was really nervous and I was really stressed. I thought, God, I can't send a client that, it just gave me anxiety. So I suppose, with myself, I just had to kind of learn what I wasn't confident was communicating like written. So I'd kind of like have to do lots of training. I'd have to like teach myself, and so that was scary. But I suppose with business, it is difficult. It's not easy, and it can be very challenging. But I suppose the best thing I could sort of say is for anyone is sort of do your research, and maybe find a mentor, someone who's sort of like successful, like kind of in your field. Find like a coach, because I actually, back in the day, I actually found like a mentor and a coach to sort of help me, because I needed help. My dad had businesses, and I worked for him and worked in businesses, but I hadn't actually done it myself. So, I kind of had to start from scratch. So, and it is quite a lonely journey. So, and I think, you really do need to develop rhino skin, as building a business from scratch. It is highs and lows, and you get lots of rejection. So you do need to be tough, and you really do need to be resilient, and with, even with like money and that, that was tough. I sort of had to sort of make sure, I think with anyone really, I'd say to them, make sure you've got sort of at least 6 months money behind you to pay the bills, and sort of try and get the business off the on the road and kind of working. So and have like sort of a kind of a clear measurable plan, sort of review it month to month, go back, what isn't working, then kind of like work on the plan. And I'll tell you, one of the hardest things is like friends, like friends are going on holiday and that, and I'm like, oh God, I'm working all the hours, although I love it, but like sometimes it'd be nice to have a little break in that. And you're putting reinvesting your money back into the business. So, it's a little bit tough, but then, you've got the rewards. I mean, just seeing a client happy and going on a date, and, the team were like, we all excited, we might go out and celebrate, we'll go to the pub and have like a bit of fizz and enjoy it. So, you think there's highs and lows with every business, but it isn't an easy journey, it isn't lonely, but sort of surround yourself with positive people and find a good mentor and someone who can help.
You mentioned earlier that you worked with your father in a family business. Tell us just briefly about family business, why you decided not to pursue that as a career and do your own thing. Were there particular reasons why you didn't want to get involved in the family business long term?
Yeah, I suppose. Well, working with family, or it can be very challenging. And the worst thing is, for me, I didn't fall out, but I do know friends who have fallen out, and it's really difficult. So it isn't easy. But yeah, I mean, I suppose obviously, the family business, it was properties and farms and things like that. So it was quite a mixed range. I was quite lucky. So it wasn't boring. And I sort of qualified as well as an interior designer. So it helped with my dad. But it just, I don't know, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. I've always known it, even as a child, I just knew I wanted to help people. But at a young age, I didn't know. But obviously, as I started to get older, I thought, I don't want to do this. I know what I want to do. And I just knew on this planet, I just knew how to make a change, and I wanted to help people. And I didn't want to go, it sounds awful as well, like I didn't want to be on my deathbed lying there and thinking, God, what if I regretted what I'd never done it? So I just thought, right, I'm doing it. And it wasn't an easy decision. It was tough, but I'm so glad I've done it.
Oh, good for you. What's the future of dating look like in your mind, Lisa? Is the dating agency, Mogul Matchmakers et al., are they here to stay? Is that really the future, do you think? Well, clearly you do, otherwise you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with what's going on at the moment with COVID, it can be quite difficult. And, we had a client actually who was flying in, booked, paid for his flight. He's sort of from America, he's a reality star. And I thought, great. And then obviously when COVID happened, so you don't know what's going to happen, and you just have to expect the unexpected. But for Mogul now, we are global. We've got lots of clients flying in from all over the world. And I think this is, obviously always going to have online dating, which is great, but for us, this is different. And, I can see we've got lots of work going on. I've just written my first book, which is just coming out, which is really exciting, So especially someone who is dyslexic, it did take me quite a long time. I wrote it years ago, actually, and I tore it up. I was like, no, I can't do this. And I sort of give myself, I'm going to say, kick up the bum. And I was like, right, no, I am doing this. And, I am proud of myself for doing that, because it wasn't easy. So, and you bear all, you kind of give your heart and soul to the book. So, but it was a good thing. I'm so pleased I've done it. And it's kind of been dubbed the Bridget Jones Book of Dating. So,
wow.
I was really pleased. I mean, it has got some real life funny stories in there, but that's some clients who are happy for me to put them in there. But
well done, Lisa. That is amazing.
Thank you.
I know from experience, writing a book is not easy, and if you throw some dyslexia into the mix, then kudos to you. That's an amazing achievement.
With a glass of prosecco as well. Sometimes you just need to like, right, okay, get it flowing.
What advice would you give to anyone looking to start a business? Not just now, but anytime. There's a lot of people out there that listen to this podcast who are kind of young, got a great idea, haven't really quite got a good enough reason to kind of get out of the starting blocks. What advice would you give them to just find that momentum?
Yeah, I just suppose, do your research. That's one of the main things you should do. Just, go for it. Life's short. As I said, like, you need rhino skin because it's not easy, but there's so many highs, and it's so rewarding, and and you're making a difference. We want to make a difference in this planet, and that's what I want to do, and I want to help people. But you say, just do your research, and even just like with marketing professionals, kind of like some of them offer you like different services. You might not need it, or you've got SEO, pay-per-click. Be careful what you spend your money on, and have a measurable plan. And I quite like this is like try, fail, adjust. That's sort of my mantra, and sort of go with it and trust your gut. Gut instinct is like the best thing, you can do. And if there's something you feel like in business, or maybe working with a person you not feel it's quite right, don't do it. Just trust your gut instinct.
Fantastic. Loads of fantastic bits of advice today.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. 2 quick questions to finish off. First of all, let's understand the name of the book so we can all find it on Amazon and purchase copies. And with your permission, I'd love to purchase a copy on behalf of the Sandro Forte podcast, and we will give it away to one lucky listener and they all know what to do by now. They have to share and like, but we will give a copy away on your behalf. But apart from that, if somebody wanted to buy a copy, where would they find it?
So it's the book is on Amazon, and it's called The Secrets to What Men Really Want. And I suppose the book is it is for singles looking for Mr. Right, but also if you found him already, kind of it gives you lots of like tips and advice. And if you are in a relationship, you know, if it's maybe stale or you're not feeling good about it, you know, it kind of gives you lots of tips and what to do. And also if someone is not being too honest with you, there's tips in there as well, how to find out. So there's so much advice, tips, confidence, you know, people lacking confidence, we can, you know, we put through a strategy and that in the book. So, yeah, and it's fun, you know, that's what I wanted it to be.
And what about you, social media? How do we find you on social media? And Mogul Matchmakers, presumably you have a website that's called Mogul Matchmakers, I guess.
Yes. So it's mogulmatchmakers.co.uk, and we're on Instagram as Mogul Matchmakers. And I think with Mogul Matchmakers on Instagram, you can kind of go on there. We've got lots of different experts and some of the team giving like tips, advice. We've got lawyers, you know, dating if you're a bit, you know, I'd say like a pet prenuptial, what do I do? Or like makeup tips or styling. So, you know, we've got lots of things on there just to help people. So, but yeah, you can definitely find us, and, you know, we are there.
Fantastic. Thank you. So final question, the only one we ask all of our guests, and it's a very simple one. Let's imagine you're having a conversation with a younger version of Lisa Palmer, and Lisa Palmer Jr. jumps up on Lisa Palmer Senior. Don't like to use that word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, thanks.
And says, Mum or Lisa Palmer Senior, I'm looking to find my way in life, start my own business, overcome a challenge. Give me one piece of advice. If you could condense everything that you've learned in life and business so far into one sentence, one rule that I would live my life by, what would that piece of advice be, Lisa?
Oh, God, now you've got me now. I suppose do it, or don't regret anything. Go and do it, and trust your gut. And we're on this planet for a short time. Just do it and enjoy every minute, highs and lows, and learn from every experience. I
think that's a brilliant piece of advice, and one that many, many people listening will take away. Lisa Palmer, it's been fabulous talking to you. And I know from the discussion we had before the show started today that we are going to reconnect and have probably a much longer chat about all kinds of stuff.
I do apologise. I do go on.
No, don't apologise. It's much easier for me than yes or no. So we will get a couple of copies of your book, one of which I will keep for posterity, and the other we will give to a lucky listener who performs the usual tasks. Beyond all that, thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for finding the time in your busy schedule, and hopefully Mogul Matchmakers will continue to go from strength to strength.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's lovely to talk to you. I really enjoyed it, actually. I was a bit nervous. I was like, oh, I hope I come across all right. People think, oh God, you know, this crazy lady. But no.
But thank you. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks very much indeed.
No problem. Thank you again for having me.
So thank you for joining us on the Sandro Forte podcast. Lisa Palmer, what a lovely lady. Great fun too. I'm going to definitely catch up with her. Each week we have a new guest joining us to share their own insights into achieving success or overcoming life challenges. Please make sure you subscribe. Follow us on social media, Sandro's podcast. Don't forget the S in the middle. Loads of people do. Same on all the channels. And if you want to email us, it's hello@sandrospodcast. Please leave those reviews on iTunes. And if you do, you'll be automatically entered into a draw to win one of the prizes, just like Lisa's book, donated by one of the guests of the Sandro Forte podcast. So until this time next week and another guest on the Sandro Forte podcast, goodbye for now.